Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of 2026 on Shoppable UGC and how it turns traffic into revenue. So today we're diving into practical tips on how to improve the conversion rate of your website by implementing Shoppable UGC. Now, before we dive in, I'd like to introduce myself as well. So my name is Elizabeta, and I'm the Senior Customer Success Manager at Influee. So Influee is a platform for UGC, and we connect over 100,000 creators from 23 different markets with brands and agencies worldwide. With me today is my co-host, Mark Yeramian, who is a CEO and co-founder of Moast. So Mark, please tell us in a couple of seconds, what do you guys do here at Moast?
Moast powers shoppable video for over 3,000 merchants on Shopify. It's a tool that allows merchants to import some of the awesome content they have on their Instagram, on their socials, bring it to their website, make it interactive, make it engaging, and use it to help ultimately convert more customers on their website.
Wow, amazing. Well, today's agenda is quite packed. And we'll cover first how to get UGC content. Then I'll talk about what content to make, what kind of format you could be doing for your brand. Then we'll talk about shoppable video, conversion architecture, and the meta ads impact it has. And then last but not least, we'll leave you with a homework and you'll get a 30-day execution plan. So you'll get a week-by-week playbook on how to actually implement those UGC videos to your website. In the end, we'll also have a live Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and then in the end, our team will pick the best ones. If you are wondering whether you'll get this presentation, yes, you'll also get an ebook tomorrow via email. So keep an eye on your inbox. So let's get started. So the first topic is how to actually get UGC. And there's actually two routes on getting UGC. The first one is customer-led, and the second one is source UGC. In terms of the customer-led UGC, this means that you're requesting UGC from people who've already purchased your product. So the benefits of such approach is that you get high trust, real customer voice. So the language used in those videos is very authentic, and the cost for your brand is near to zero. However, this approach also has a few limitations. So the timing can be quite unpredictable, the quality, unfortunately, as well. You cannot control the format, nor you can brief it. And then it's also not performance optimized. And then the solution to customer-led UGC is sourced UGC. So the strengths of this approach would be that it's predictable. So you can provide a brief to the creators and then they make content according to your brief. It's built for ads and on-site video, and it can be also quite cost-effective. So for example, on Influee, an average 30 to about 60-second UGC video costs $80, which is very reasonable. However, if you want to scale this approach, if you actually want to grow and get like content for your ads, you need to have some sort of a creator management tool. And if you try to over-engineer the briefing, if you over-instruct, these videos can feel a bit inauthentic. So the solution basically is to have a combination of both and to actually use a platform that can streamline your UGC creation process. However, there's also this hidden blocker with both approaches. So both with customer-led UGC and with source UGC, the issue is that most brands don't lock in usage rights upfront. So for example, if you're asking your customers to make video testimonials, video reviews about your product, as soon as you mention a contract or a waiver, you lose interest and you lose the content or spend weeks chasing individuals. With source UGC, so for example, if you're working with creators on a one-on-one basis through Instagram DMs, or if you run conversation through email threads, you'll soon notice that each creator proposes different usage rights, and therefore the prices can jump very quickly when content starts to perform, because oftentimes they'll ask, I don't know, for a 3 month duration, but then you have to pay extra if you want to use it in ads, right? So it's impossible to basically track the usage rights across different collaborations. So it's really difficult to scale. This is where Influee solution actually comes in handy. Because if you order content through Influee, you get unlimited perpetual rights, and you can use the content both in advertising and organic social media, as well as your website forever. So your team doesn't need to worry about how to actually deploy the content. Everything is already predetermined with the platform service standard. So now we have the basics ready. You basically know that you need to make UGC. You know how to approach this, but you also might wonder what content to make. And now I'm going to talk about what are the key questions your shoppers ask themselves when they engage with your brand. So knowingly or subconsciously, each potential buyer asks themselves these 5 questions. So first, they ask themselves, is this product for someone like me? Will it work for my specific situation? How do I actually use the product? Can I trust the brand? And last but not least, what will I actually receive? And a good quality or high quality UGC library actually contains videos that answer all of these 5 questions. And specifically, each single question should be answered by one video ad angle. So let's take a look at the 5 most commonly used ad angles or formats. So for a question, is this for someone like me? You could create, for example, a problem-led video. This means that you open your video with a problem, and the point of this video is that your shopper recognizes themselves in the problem that your product is solving. Then for objection handling video, so for the question, will it work for my situation? You could create an objection handling video. And here, a really good tip is that you actually look at your support question. So export everything, what your customers are asking your support. Maybe even take a look at your DMs, TikTok comment section, Instagram comment section, and see what people are asking you. And based on this, you should prepare objection handling videos. So just a quick example here would be for a food supplement brand, for example, a common objection would be, is this suitable for people with sensitive skin or for breastfeeding mothers or something like that? So you should actually make videos that address these objections. Then the third question, how do I actually use it? You could create a how-to or explainer videos. And this is especially important for those products that have a high learning curve or are very technically difficult. Shoppers should see themselves successful when they use your product. And by making a how-to/explainer videos, they get this guarantee that they could be successful if they purchase your product. Then the second to last question, can I trust the brand? And here it's important to know that the trust is not conveyed through brand messaging, but is conveyed through people. So people trust people, not brands, right? So it's important to create some sort of testimonial videos because UGC, so content that's presented by a person, is way more authentic than a brand produced video. And last but not least,
people don't trust AI either, is important to note.
Oh, yes.
Better to have real people than AI-based videos.
True. Yeah.
And
then last but not least, what will I actually receive? So the unboxing video addresses this question. And I think here is what I see brands leaving a lot of untapped potential on the table, because there can be a big mismatch between what shoppers think they'll get versus what they actually will get. And if that gap is negative, this is where bad reviews, returns come in, right? So if you create an unboxing video, for example, you close that gap and you manage expectations. All right. Now moving on. So now you know that what kind of content to make, and now I'm gonna talk about how to actually get started. Where to get started. So I looked at the people who registered for the webinar, and there's quite a lot of our brands, our clients from Influee, and majority of you guys not only have one or two products, but you have dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of SKUs on your website. So it's impossible to actually make content for thousands of SKUs, right? So you need to somehow prioritize. And what we notice is that the sweet spot for making content is 8 to 12 videos per hero product. So with 8 to 12 videos, you're able to guarantee full coverage, and each video answers a different buying question that we just had a look at. If you make more than 12 videos per hero product, then you get diminishing returns. So nobody really scrolls through like 12 plus videos. And yeah, shoppers start skimming. Whereas if you make less than 8, maybe less than 6, you leave objections unanswered. So you skip key questions and shoppers leave without. Now, what is a hero product? So you should define it through this formula. So you should look at your traffic, you should look at your paid spend, the volume, and the risk of return. So you should start with your top 3 products by this score. So the ones that are that have the highest score, these are your hero products and should get prioritized when making content. If you're selling low price impulse buys, maybe 1 or 2 videos are enough. But in general, this is the kind of the model that we see works best. In terms of briefing best practices, so in terms of the length, keep it short. So between 15 to 35 seconds, this is the kind of the sweet spot. Then in terms of the hook, make sure it's like you grab attention in the first 2 seconds, either through a spoken hook or and visual hook. Make sure that each video does one job. So don't try mixing different angles, just have one video dedicated for one job. Then the product should be also used in the first 5 seconds. And last but not least, all of the videos that you make should have like a clear result and a CTA at the end. And now basically we covered everything on how to get UGC, what kind of content to make, and how to get started. And now Mark will tell us more on actually how to deploy this on the website. So Mark, please take it away.
Thank you, Elizabeta. Okay, so you have all this awesome content. You've worked with Influee to create content with creators. How could you get more out of that content? Now, that's a question I want to help you address. I always say that shoppable video or adding shoppable video to your Shopify store, your e-commerce store, is one of the lowest lifts, highest impact initiatives that you take. It really is something that you could get up and running if you use an app like Moast in 10, 15 minutes, and you're going to see immediate results. Now, what are those results that you're going to see by adding shoppable video to your store? Well, for one, you're going to see an increase in conversion rate. Elizabeta went through all the different types of videos and how they're going to address concerns and support your shopper's buying journey. That ultimately is going to lead to more customers adding to cart and checking out. Time on site is a sneaky one. It's one that people don't really think about as much as an important metric for them, but it actually really is important. Getting customers to come to your site and actually spend time there. You know how shopping is these days, you'll have 5 tabs open. Just getting someone to spend more time on your site is going to increase the chances that they'll go with your product. And creating this endless loop of shoppable video is just going to naturally have them spending more time on your site. So that's a very important one not to look over. And then you're also going to increase average order value. You know, just scrolling shoppable video, one video might cover 2 products or 3 products. And all of a sudden you might say, hey, like not only do I need this product, but I might also need these additional products as well. They could be tagged in the video too, so it's quickly accessible. Ultimately, you're going to see an increase in average order value as well. So that's the main advantages of shoppable video. It really comes down to let's call it a math equation. You have traffic coming to your site, and the key metric here is conversion rate. And if we're able to increase that conversion rate through shoppable video, well, you extrapolate that increased conversion rate across all the traffic coming to your site, and you're going to see a lift in your ROAS, in your revenue, all the important metrics that you're tracking, the number of orders. This is a very simple example that we're showing here, but if you jump your conversion rate from 2% to 3%, which would be obviously really great, you'll see your ROAS increase, your revenue increase, your orders increase. So that's the numbers that we're trying to play with, is ultimately implement shoppable video, increase conversion rate, and just see the benefits from that. Okay, so it's not just a matter of taking the videos and just dumping it throughout your store. It's important to be strategic and methodological about how you implement these videos across your store. The first and easiest place to implement shoppable video is your homepage. So you could create this beautiful carousel of videos that go somewhere on your homepage, closer to the top, because they'll attract attention and they'll hook customers right away. The types of videos that should go here ideally are more same kind of like hero videos. So videos that represent your brand as a whole, because generally on your homepage, your customer might not be totally sure which direction they're going in. So better to present who is the brand, what kind of products do we offer, what's our value propositions, things like that. Those types of videos are perfect on your homepage. You could also mix in some product discovery videos to use to kind of map customers to different products from there. So homepage is the first placement that you should focus on. After that, product pages. So this is where your videos are going to be most impactful. Again, Elizabeta, not to repeat everything, but a lot of what she covered is this is where it kind of comes into place. Your shoppers ready, maybe not ready to purchase, but they're doing their homework. They're on the product page. This is where you want them to add to cart and check out. And there's a lot of different points of friction that happen at this step that will dictate whether they actually add to cart or they bounce, go somewhere else. And shoppable video is exactly where the best way to address some of those issues. You could address it through images and product descriptions, but the most engaging and interactive way to address this is by implementing the shoppable video on this page and having that right mix of 8 to 12 videos that cover the different types of objections and uncertainties that your shopper may have. So 100% shoppable video on product page, it's super important and it's critical for converting customers in 2026 and beyond.
And just to add to Mark's point, so
Please.
here when I spoke about the objections, here is the critical point. So you should definitely add the objection handling videos to your product page, even unboxings, because the customers see, how your product looks like upon arrival. They might get excited. And then also this helps to kind of navigate expectations in terms of if you only have product images, you might see a lot of returns coming in. So a lot of return products. So if you add video to your product page, shoppers can actually see how the product looks like in real life. They can also compare it to other objects, regarding the size and how it looks like, how it feels like, how it fits if you're selling clothes, for example. So definitely it helps with the decision. All right.
And I just want to come back to something I was saying before on this, because I see a trend and I see things heading in this direction where a lot of e-commerce merchants are testing AI videos. I couldn't be further from thinking that is the right strategy. The way I liken it is when you see an ad for like a McDonald's hamburger on a billboard, and then you go to McDonald's and you order the burger and it's completely different from what the banner looks like. That's what I think of when I think of AI videos. There's no quicker way to lose trust with your shopper than showing them an AI generated video of your product, because it doesn't build trust. It's not real. So why should I trust that the product is actually going to arrive like that? So I would just keep that in mind as well. Better to use real customers or real people experiencing the product. So finally, landing pages. And landing pages is where you could kind of have fun with shoppable video. If you're creating ads that target a very specific persona, if I'm targeting women looking for sunglasses that have specific UV protection, whatever it may be, the videos that are on that landing page should be specific, should be fluent with what the ad was originally showing and targeting. And that's where you could use, for example, in the Moast app, you could create feeds of specific videos that match the objective of the landing page itself. So landing pages is more where you get a little bit more granular and create different feeds based on the theme of the landing page and the persona that you're targeting. This is in the example here, you have a grid layout of Shoppable Video, which is pretty cool. It kind of is like this mosaic of videos that kind of overtake the entire page. That's just one of the ways you could do it. You could use a pop-up video here. You could use our traditional carousels. But definitely, this is where you want to be more precise and use videos that match the theme of the page.
Mm-hmm. All right, and now let's also focus on the 30-day execution plan, how to actually connect what I talked about, which is getting the content, versus what Mark talked about, which is deploying the content. And you can actually do that pretty quickly in less than 30 days. So let's get into it. So next week on Monday, this will be your week 1 strategy. You should look at your product catalog and you should identify the top 3 priority products. You should also look at your support tickets and see what are the main objections of your customers. And basically, you need to map those objections and those topics according to the 5 formats that we talked about. Then you should also define the 8 to 12 video angles per product. So this will be your week 1 strategy. For week 2, you'll go into production. And you should source creators on Influee and get matched with them within 24 hours. You should ship the products the next day and brief the creators on what kind of angle, what kind of content they're making. Remember, always do 1 job per video and just let the creators know that they should not be creative in this regard. So they should stick to the briefing and keep the videos short. Week 3 will be your content review. So creators will deliver content within 1 week. So you'll review hook quality, the demo, the videos, and the visible outcomes. And potentially, if you need to ask for revision, you'll ask for the revision. And then you'll also organize your videos. Last but not least, in week 4, you'll just deploy the videos to Moast. You will tag the products in every single video, publish them on home pages, hero pages, and product pages like Mark just discussed. And basically repeat the process after 1 month to keep the content on your website fresh and up to date. Now, to just basically recap everything that we talked about, the system is actually pretty simple. So Influee gets to the content and Moast makes it shoppable. So UGC is basically your number 1 shopping and trust signal, and Source UGC is how you actually make it predictable. How to go about it. So you should first define the usage rights, which would be unlimited and perpetual, which are standardized if you use Influee. In terms of how many videos you should make, so remember 8 to 12 videos per product is your sweet spot, and each of those videos that you make should be answering 1 buying question. Last but not least, basically, you're doing this because you're trying to make your ads convert better. So the better the website conversion, the better your ads will perform. So the better they perform, the more revenue the same ad spend generates for your brand. So basically, from the home page to the product page to the landing page, you're removing the friction at each moment and you're addressing customers' concerns at the stage where those questions arise. And with that, I'd like to basically open the discussion and answer your questions. So let's take a look. Mark, could you help me with the questions?
Yeah, I'm going to open the chat here and just see as they come through. Okay, Elena is asking, what if I work for a small team? Any strategies that you would that might be different or that you recommend there?
Yeah, definitely. So for smaller teams, it's really important that you have some sort of a platform or a system in place, especially for managing creators. Because if you're making 8 to 12 videos per product, and if you select like 3 products to start with, for example, this is quickly turning into like a 25 to 30 video very quickly, right? So to make 30 videos and to deploy at least like 10 creators to make those 30 videos, you'll need some sort of a system. You could do it manually, like if you talk with your creators through Instagram DMs, but through emails, but that's really inefficient. Just imagine how much time you spend negotiating deals, how much time you spend shipping the products, collecting the addresses, just getting the contracts ready, this is all very lengthy. And for 10 creators, your team members will, or if you have a very small team, your team will spend the entire day just managing those 10 creators. So you need to have some sort of a system in place, for example, like Influee, that will help you get creators fast. So on Influee, creators approach you, right? They give you a price proposal. We have predetermined rights, the most basic timelines, revision processes, everything is streamlined and predefined by the platform. So what you're actually doing is just assigning tasks, shipping products, and for smaller teams, this is the best case scenario.
Okay, and how to know which format to start with is a follow-up question.
Okay, in terms of formats, well, it depends. Depends on your context. So maybe if you already have, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who asked this question, but you should definitely not forget about the existing UGC. So most of people who registered for today's webinar already made UGC in the past. So take a look at the content that you made previously. So I'm pretty sure that you've made some problem and solution videos. So you could already upload those to Moast, for example. Just make sure they're not too long. You can even edit the content as well. So if you came from Influee and you have like some problem and solution videos that were made by Influee creators, you also have the rights to re-edit those. So in case they're too long, just cut the remaining part and upload those. So this could be one way to get started and to get some quick wins, right? To get the ball rolling. In terms of other high priority angles, my suggestion would be to address objections, because this is also usually the most converting ad angles that we see in meta advertising. So problem and solution and objection handling, right? So take a look, like I mentioned, your support chat, your Instagram, TikTok DM, see what shoppers are talking about, what kind of questions they're asking your team, and based on that, you can like map out what videos to make.
Yeah, and I would just add on to that too. Like a lot of this comes down to kind of planning and having every kind of step figured out. I also, and I'm sure you would agree with this, Elizabeth, I'd recommend also just getting started, right? Like you probably have some sort of existing base. You know that you need to improve that base of content, and you know that starting campaigns on Influee is a good place to start. But in the meantime, just use what you already have to get started with. It is better than nothing. There's so many stores that I see these days that there's just no social proof on the store. There's no content whatsoever. It's just a lot of just product images with white backgrounds, very little reviews, just nothing there to kind of signal trust and that you're not alone in this purchase. So bringing it while you're working on these campaigns, while you're following, the plan that you outlined here, start with everything else. It's not going to hurt. It can only make things better. Another follow-up question here that we have is, does UGC need to be only high production quality? And can brands use UGC that they already have on social? I think that's what I was talking about before, but maybe the production quality is a good question.
Yeah, just to quickly add on the previous question, in case you guys have any questions on how to actually get started, or if you need help with strategy, here's my email. You can also email us and we can hop on a call like strategy, and I'll help you exactly, like we'll review what you've already done and how you could move forward. In terms of the production quality, so I think that UGC should follow like the basic minimum standard in terms of like the lighting, the composition, the aspect ratios, and so on. So it should be at least somehow presentable. However, it doesn't need to be super polished, and it doesn't need to be like a super high production value. And this is the beauty of UGC, right? So this is why UGC is actually more converting than any other polished brand video with super high production cost. It's because it's approachable, it's because it's authentic, and yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree to that. You could almost have like the reverse effect if it's too
Yeah.
polished. Better to keep it accessible. I think we're doing pretty good on timing. We were worried, Elizabeth,
Yeah.
going in this that either one of us might talk a little bit too long, but I think we have a minute to spare. I think we covered everything we wanted to. Did you have anything else you want to add here?
No, I just wanted to add, like, in case you have questions, you can connect with us either through email or on LinkedIn. And this was really a pleasure. Like, it was nice that we started off the year, okay, in March with this great topic on Shoppable UGC, and you can expect more webinars coming from Influee at least in the upcoming months. So thank you again for joining us. You'll get the presentation tomorrow, and I hope you have a very nice day. Bye.
Thank you for putting this together.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.